Hello, everyone. So, there's a lot of Battlecats Ultimate tutorials on YouTube that are kind of just bad or like misleading. Like just like any kind of tutorial, it doesn't really make sense whatsoever. So I thought I'd make my own tutorial on some of the stuff in Battlecats Ultimate. I might not be the most knowledgeable, but I'm gonna try to make this tutorial and other subsequent tutorials as straightforward as possible. So today, I'm gonna show you how to make a basic custom level. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna click Custom Pack, and it'll bring up this screen, what you see me on right now. And what you're going to want to do, before you can make a custom stage, you have to make your own custom pack. Now, what a pack does is it gathers up everything you make, any custom stage, any custom enemy, any custom cat unit, anything that is custom content, and it packs it all into one condensed group. So we're going to be wanting to make everything in the same pack, so it's all together if you ever want to upload it. So anyways, to make a pack, you click the add button, and these random string of letters will pop up here. Now this is the pack's ID. Now you can change the name of the pack by clicking on the pack's name you want to change, and in this case we want to change the pack that we just created. You go down here and you click here, and what you're going to want to do is just type in a name, any name. So I'm just going to give it a basic name of tutorial pack actually. And after you're done typing in, you have to press the enter key. You can't just click off, because let's say just type in, right? And then I go back. It doesn't, okay, well, never mind then. But point is, you should probably press enter whenever you enter a text field. Otherwise, it might not save your changes, although that's usually just a given. Anyways, now that you've made a custom pack, make sure you have it selected, and then you click add over here where it says stages. Now what this is going to do is going to make a subchapter. If you don't know what a subchapter is in the Battlecats, it's basically a collection of levels, and you can name it whatever you want. We'll just name it tutorial subchapter. Really simple name. And then once you have this selected, you can click custom stage, and it'll bring you here. And what you need to do is you need to click on the subchapter you made, and then you click the button here, add. And this will get you into the process of actually making your first stage. If you want to change the name of the stage, just go up here, just type in whatever, and press enter, and we got the name tutorial stage. Before we actually add any enemies, I'm going to describe what everything up here does. So first star, or 1 star rather, is the default difficulty level of your level. What you're going to want to do is you're always going to want to keep this at 100%. It'll literally make no sense to change this to any other percentage. This is basically the star/crown system from the actual Battlecats. You know, when you fully complete a subchapter, sometimes a second version of it appears, then a third, and then a fourth, you know. But anyways, 2 star is basically just the 2, 3, and 4 stars are basically just setting up difficulties. So if I want 150% magnification on enemies, if the player selects 2 stars, I type it in right here. What magnification does is magnifies the power of any enemy that's in the level. I'll go farther into magnification when we add in enemies, but for now, that's what that means. Base health is the amount of health that the enemy base has. This does not affect the player's base health whatsoever. So we're just going to give this a basic value, 390,000. It's a little bit high just for a tutorial stage, but doesn't really matter. The length it's really basic. It's literally just the length of the stage. There is a minimum and a maximum you can input. Let's say I just smash the keyboard and put this random number in. It'll cap itself to the highest length that it's able to do. And there's also a minimum length. So let's say I just put in 3. It's going to cap at 2,000. You're not really going to want to make a level that's 2,000 though. I'll just show you real quickly what it looks like. This bad. You don't want this ever. Don't do that. I'd say the minimum length you'd always want, and which is what it defaults to, is 3,000. This is the shortest you're probably going to want a level. Max enemy is a value that determines how many enemies can be in the stage at once. It can go as high as 50 or as low as 1. In terms of what you want this value to be normally, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. It all depends on what style your level is. Background, this is where we start getting into the exciting stuff. When you click the background button, it'll bring you to this long list of items. Now what this is every single background in Battle Cats. You just click through, find one that you like, and then use it. So when you find a background that you like, we're just gonna go with basic dark night sky background for now. You click on it, and then you click back, and then it'll show here. When something says null, example for in the castle area, it'll just use the default value for whatever category it's in. Or for music, it just won't play any music at all. Castle is what the enemy base is stylized to be. Now this, you can click on the subcategories, and it'll bring you to different selections of bases. And it'll also show your own pack name. We won't talk about this for now, just ignore this. But RC is basically all the event stage stuff, stories of legends, uncanny legends. And you just scroll all the way down. There's a whole bunch. You just click through, find whatever you like. EC is Empire of Cats. Now, you might be saying to yourself, these don't look like Empire of Cats bases. These look completely new. And if you played the English version, you'd be right. These are the bases that come from the Japanese version of Battle Cats. Because in the Japanese version, you're not going around the world in Empire Cats. You're actually just going around the country of Japan. But anyways, that doesn't matter for the context of the tutorial. Fact is, this is all just Japanese Empire Cat bases. WC is everything from Into the Future. Just basic, all Into the Future stuff. And then SC is, as you could probably guess from Theory of Elimination, is Cats of the Cosmos. So we're just going to select the normal looking base. This one looks nice. I'm going to pick this one. Alright, now, minimum respawn. This is the minimum frames required for an enemy to be able to respawn. Usually you're just going to want to leave this on 1 frame. I wouldn't even really touch this. Music. Now this is where you can select music. You're going to notice all these themes. Now not all these are music. You can click on this one. You can press start to preview it. This is the intro theme. But other things are just sounds, not music. Oh, well, I clicked on music by accident. That's not even anything. There you go, there's a sound. So not all these are songs. So what you're going to want to do is certain OGGs are actual songs, like 30 for example, and 31, 32, and 33, and 34. Also 3 and 4. I'm just gonna go with 3 because that's just the basic theme. And loop start 0. This is I haven't used this before, but I am pretty sure that this is when you want the song to start. Like not like time into the level, but rather at what timestamp do you want the song to start? Like if you want the song to start 30 seconds in. I would just completely ignore this, to be honest. When you hover your mouse over it, it shows how long the song is as well, the one that you selected here. Now over here you'll see 0% health. Now what this is the secondary song for a level. So what you can do is you can click here, open music again, scroll down to another song, pick a boss sounding song, for example 32. And this will play when the minimum threshold of health has reached the point displayed here. And you can click here, you can change it, 99% health, let's say. Rarity. Now everything down here is restrictions on the level. Stuff that you'd see in Cats of the Cosmos or 4-star/4 crown stages in Stories of Legends. So if I click this will restrict it so that only super rares, uber rares, and legend rares can be used. So you can change what type of units can be used on your stage. It's a very interesting feature. Minimum cost is the minimum cost a unit can cost in order to be able to be deployed. So if I entered 151, that means anything that's below 150 or is 150 or below can't be deployed. And max cost is basically the opposite of that. A unit can only cost so much. Let's say I type in 151. If a unit costs 151 or over, it can't be deployed. Max unit is a maximum amount of units you can have on the field at once. So kind of like some Cats of the Cosmos stages or those dual stages where you can only deploy a single unit. Now, if you have this at 0, it'll default to 50 because that's the normal limit for cats in Battle Cats. There is a way to get around this if you want more units to be deployed, but it's not in the stage. It's for the only way to get around is to create a custom unit and do some things with it, and it's not recommended as you'll make your stuff very unstable. So don't try to get around the 50 cap. Respect the game, respect the performance. First line only will only let you deploy from the first line of units. I'll show you real quick. If I had first line on, I would only be able to deploy Crazed Wallcat, Manic Macho Legs, Bullet Train Cat, and Vacation Cat. Everyone down here, they would not be able to be deployed. Group. This has to do with grouping up enemies. It's a feature I wouldn't really touch personally. So I would just I would stay away from this here. And level, this. Whoa. I wouldn't really touch this either. There's not really much use to these two features that I've found. Now we're gonna get into adding enemies. Now, if you want to add an enemy, you click Add Line. But if you don't have anything selected, it'll just add this blank enemy, and if you start the stage, your game will crash. So don't do that. if you want an enemy to appear, you can scroll down the list, and it has every single enemy in the game, not just from the English version, but the Japanese version as well. Anyways, so what we're going to want to do, we're going to deploy a Doge, just a simple, basic dog. And HP/attack here, this is the magnification of the unit. Now, if we click on its portrait over here, we can see every single one of its stats. 90 health, 8 attack, 5 damage per second. So this is the stats of the Doge at 100% magnification. Now, if we change this to, let's say, 500, this will multiply its stats basically by 5 times. So if we open up the portrait again, 450 health, 25 DPS, 40 attack. And that's what the 2-star, 3-star, 4-star thing does. This will multiply the Doge by 150 or 1.5, as well as any other unit in the stage. So let's say I add those guys, a Jackie Ping, and a Gory, and I set the level of the Doge back to 100% magnification. When I start the level and I select 2-star difficulty, every single unit here will be set to 150% magnification by default. And if I set Doge over here to 1000 magnification, playing on 2-star would set them at 1500, because you're basically multiplying every single magnification in the level by 1.5 times. And you can also make it so that the HP and the attack magnification are separate. Now what you're going to do this is set first magnification that you want for the health. Let's say 250. And then put a comma, and then set the magnification you want for attack. Let's say 1250. And this will split it. So the first number is for the health magnification, and the second number is for the attack magnification. Now if we open up his portrait again, you can see his health is a little bit low, but his attack doesn't really match, his level of health magnification. That's because we separated two values. Now, you can also change the value in here to preview it. So let's say I change his health value, add an extra 0. That'll just give him another 1000 health. And I can just smash my keyboard and give him insane amount of attack. Of course, that's only for preview. If you want to change the actual magnification of the unit and the level, you'll have to enter it here. But it's good just to check the stats of the unit that you want to deploy and just preview it, see all the types of levels before you make a final decision. Number is the number of enemies that can appear before they aren't able to be deployed. I'm just going to quickly change some values so I can show you what this means. Let's set this to 5, and that means only 5 of them can be deployed before they run out. So let's just quickly start the stage. And as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 will be deployed, and now that the limit is up, they won't be, no more of them will be deployed ever. So we can go back here, and by default, this is 1. But if you want this to be infinite, just delete the 1 and then press enter, and then it'll show infinite. If we start again, you'll see that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you may be wondering why it stopped at 8, but that's because we set the unit deploy limit to 8 for the enemies. So if you want this kill, they'll just drop it back down to 0, and you'll see that they start spawning. So they'll slowly do that until they spawn, but they won't ever stop respawning. Oh, and as you just saw, we just dropped the base to 99%. What that does is... But anyways, you get the point. So I'm just gonna quickly go back to this right here. You can set this to whatever percentage you want, but typically you'll have it at 90% or 99%, because usually Ponos behavior is when you hit a base, a boss might come out, and that's when you drop it below 99. That's like the minimum threshold. Anyways, back to enemies. So base health. This is when the enemies will come out depending on the health of the base. Now if we change this to 99, and I'm just going to reduce the health of the base just to preview this easier. When we start the level, you'll see that they don't come out immediately. But the moment the base is hit, they'll start coming out. Once it drops below 99%, that is. It just dropped below 99%, and the music change, as well as the dojo spawn. So it's really simple. You can set this to whatever number you want. It all depends on what kind of level you're going for. Okay, now start. This is the frame that they start spawning in. So if we set this to 120, that's 120 frames in before they'll start spawning. For context, 30 frames is a second, so this would be 4 seconds. Very simple. This can be helpful for when you want the a boss of a stage to appear a little bit into the stage rather than having the player hit the base. It can also be just left at 0 for them to spawn instantly the moment the base health drops below the certain threshold, or if it's at 100%, it'll just make them spawn when the stage starts. Respawn is the time that it takes for the enemy to respawn. So if I set this to 300, this doge will take 10 seconds to respawn every single time after one is deployed. Now you might be you might know from Ponos levels that sometimes the deploy timer of units can be a little bit random. Now if you want to do that, take the lowest number you want for the at the time you want them to be deployed. Let's say a single second, and then put a dash, and then put the highest time you want them to be deployed. Let's say 4 seconds. Now if we go into the level, you can see that they deploy at random times in between the two values that we define. Very nice feature. You can also do this for on start. So you can make them start between, let's say, 3 seconds and 5 seconds. So if we start the level, you see that they deploy in about 3 seconds. Now if we go back, start again until we get a good number. You see that number down here was a little bit higher than before. Very simple stuff. I'm just gonna get rid of these values for now. If you want to reset the values back to default, you have to just put in 0. If you just delete it and enter, it won't clear it. Alright, now, layer. This is the layer that the unit will deploy on. By default, this is 0 to 9. Now, this is just any layer whatsoever. If you have it on the layer 0, and then let's add a Sanche. Hope I pronounced that right. I have no fucking idea how to pronounce that guy's name. And then we set the Sanche to layer 1. And we just quickly give them some respawn time. You can see that the Sanche is in front of the Doge because it's on a higher layer. So basically, the higher number you go, the higher layer they're on. and therefore, if a unit is on the 9th layer, it'll be higher than any unit that's on the 8th layer or lower. You're going to typically want to keep this at 0 to 9 for basic peons. And let's say we got some huge ass fucker spawning in. Let's say we want to put in a teacher bear. You don't have to do this, but for visibility sakes, usually I like to put the bigger enemies in the lower layers. That way, whenever they're deployed, you'll see that they're behind, and it looks much better. At least in my opinion. It's all up to you and how you want to design the level. Now, group, just ignore this. Don't touch this. This is good for making super like advanced big brain levels, but just for now, when you're just starting out, I just wouldn't touch it whatsoever. And now the boss is boss. Now what you're going to want to do is, if you want to make a unit a boss, just type in boss. That's literally all you had to do. And what happens if they're the boss is that, let's set this guy to deploy 10 seconds in. I'm just going to increase the amount of enemies real quick as well. And now you'll see when he deploys what happens. Just give it a little bit of time. The moment he deploys, the boss shockwave will happen. Although there is a problem with this. If you want multiple of the same boss to spawn, let's say we want 3 of these guys to spawn, right? You'll notice a problem when they spawn. Well, it's not a problem, it's the game engine working perfectly how it's supposed to. But you'll see when he spawns, 1, 2, that's 3 boss shockwaves. You usually only want 1. So what you can do is, I'm going to show you a trick as to how I make it so that only 1 shockwave happens. So we still want 3 of these guys to be deployed, 150 frames in, and respawn timer is 60. We're going to actually remove the boss from this guy, and we're just going to take some basic peon, like those guys, make only 1 deploy, and we're going to make him start at the exact same time that this boss deploys. And we'll make him the boss instead. And then when you start, you'll see that the boss shockwave happens for the first unit, but not for the second or the third. Which is great, because those guys did the boss shockwave and not the teacher bears. Although one problem you may have with this is that since these units aren't classified as bosses, they'll be able to be knocked, as opposed to where if a unit is a boss, they won't be able to be knocked behind the base. That's just a little gripe though. You can perfectly design your levels around it, so it doesn't matter too much. So that's basically all you need to know to make a level. Now, before I do end this tutorial, I would like to go over some basic knowledge. So, let's say you want a fancy way of deploying some peons. Let's just make this guy infinite. And let's say you want 3 deployed at once, and then wait a little bit of time, and then 3 deployed at once again. What you can do is you can add 2 more doges, or whatever enemy you want, and then make them start at times apart from each other. And then make their respawn time the exact same. So what this will do is it'll make them spawn subsequently after each other, so they look like they come in a pack of 3. 1, 2, 3. And then if we wait the desired amount of time before they deploy again, you'll see that they perfectly line up again. 2, 3. Really simple system for making units deploy together like that. On the unit speed, that might look a bit too much, and it might look ugly. I'll show you an example of that real quick. As you can see, the Doges move at a speed of 5, but if we just erase their existence, replace them with 1 horns, and if we do the same deploy time again, you'll see that they stick a little bit too close together because they move just a little bit too slow. Because if you click on them, you'll see that their speed is just 1 tier lower than a Doge, but that's still enough to throw it off. So you can just input extra frames to make them separate easier and for it to look better. As you can see, that's still bad, but better than before. It really all depends on what the unit is, the width of the unit, the speed of the unit. It's just basic framework knowledge. That's really all it is. You test as many times as you need to get the optimal value. Now let's just remove these guys. Now, you may know that the unit miss sign deploys, after you spend about 15 minutes in a level. Now, you don't have to add a miss sign to your level, but I personally like to do it, just to show the player that you've been taking 15 minutes. Now, if you want to enter in 15 minutes, that's just 27,000 frames. And then respawn 27,000 frames. You make them infinite, and that's all you need to do. So if we start, and you look down where my mouse is, you'll see that their next spawn is currently 26,700 frames. We're not going to wait 15 minutes for that to happen, but just trust me when I say it works. And that's really the basics of stage making. One thing that may help you though when you're balancing your stage's magnification, let's add in a Doge, okay? And we're gonna scroll down and we want a different enemy that's way later in Battle Cats. Let's say let's say we want a Sir Rel, right? Now these guys are at both the same magnification. Now let's start the level. Oh no, this carpet. But they're the same magnification, you may say to yourself. Now this is what we like to call a Ponos moment. Now if we go back and we click on the Doge, he's just the basic health and stuff that the 100% modification is. Now if we look at the Sir Rel, you can see that his stats are insanely buffed, but he's still 100% magnification. And now you may ask yourself, that doesn't make sense. But unfortunately, it does make sense. Since these units were designed for later in the game, they already have a base stat that's extremely higher than earlier peons. So what you can do is you can make a minimum, lower their magnification. So we just lower this to 5, and I'll bring them down. You can even just lower it to 1. I'll just turn him into a little basic peon. He'll still be harder than a 100% magnification Doge, but he'll now be on the level where you can easily quality control him. Very simple. That's really it. That's all you really need to do to make a level. Now, I'm going to show you one of my own levels for an example, just to go over everything all over again. So let's go over the Wistful Wild bamboo shoot stage. You'll see that Asanche and those guys deploy about right approximately at the start of the level, and they respawn in time. And then this Gory, only one of them deploys, and it spawns 300 frames into the level, which is 10. And then we got two one horns that deploy when you hit the base, and the second one horn respawns 600 frames after you hit the base. And then the boss is those guys using the strategy I showed you earlier, and then infinite those guys spawn after. Now what this little minus sign here means is that when the base is under 99% health, that's when this will start ticking down. Because if you don't have the minus sign here, this number will tick down the moment the stage starts, which means that by the time the player hits the base, that number will have already been gone, and he'll just spawn instantly. So I'll just play the stage. Show you how everything goes out real quickly. If you think the screen is too small, click the large screen button. It'll we'll lose out on some information. When you have the small screen up, all the enemy units are deployed, your health, your aim, your attack. And I'll also show you how many enemy units are on the field at once. Down here, to be deployed, how many remain, when they'll spawn, magnification will be at their next one. And over here shows all the attack, Yep. So that's just a run through of a basic stage, and now you know how to make a stage. If you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to ask in the comments below, or you can join the Discord that's linked down in the description. The first link is going to be a link to my own Discord, and the second link is going to be a link to the Battle Cats Ultimate Discord, where you can get Battle Cats Ultimate. But hopefully you don't need any more help, but if you do, don't worry, we all get confused sometimes. But that's going to be the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you. And then I'll be uploading more tutorials. Probably the next one will be just how to install Battle Cats Ultimate, because there are way too many shit tutorials about how to install it. Way too just in-depth insane when you literally just click something and you run it is literally it. And I'll also describe how to make custom enemies and custom units, but that's for the future. So I will see you all later. I hope this tutorial helped you, and goodbye.